Something huge is happening behind the scenes with the Los Angeles Chargers, and I need to warn you, this could completely change the course of our season, how the team takes the field, and even what we can expect from this final stretch towards the playoffs. I'm talking about a move that caught even the insiders by surprise, a move that was being kept in absolute secrecy, but which began to leak in the last few hours. And now, I've obtained inside information, details that aren't being released to the national media, and that explain why the atmosphere within the Chargers has changed drastically this week. And it's serious. We are about to see a turnaround that could transform the offense, revitalize the defense, and rekindle the confidence that seemed lost after so many injury problems. If you're a Chargers fan, you need to hear this until the end, because the news that's about to break in Los Angeles could be the turning point that separates. So go ahead and like this video, turn on notifications, and subscribe to the channel, because what I'm about to reveal is serious, impactful, and could affect every fan who believes this team can still surprise. Today, you'll understand exactly what's about to happen within the Chargers. Coach Jim Harbaugh finally delivered the news that fans have been waiting for weeks, and that could represent a major turning point for the Chargers' defense. After much uncertainty and silence about his situation, Otito Ogbonnia has officially had his 21-day workout period activated, paving the way for a return to the main roster that, until recently, seemed distant. For those who followed closely, the elbow injury that took him off the field in Week 7 literally after a single play against the Colts was a hard blow. Even before this, Ogbonnia had already been having an inconsistent season, accumulating only 66 defensive snaps over 4 games, failing to show his true potential or establish himself within the defensive rotation. It was the kind of situation that could bury the development of a young player, but now everything changes. And the impact of this return is significant. The Chargers' defensive line was simply exhausted, carrying an enormous volume of snaps. Teair Tart, Deshaun Hand, and Jamari Caldwell did what they could, and sometimes even more than they should have. But it was visible that, at the end of the games, they lacked explosiveness, energy, and depth. The wear and tear had been accumulating week after week. That's why, with Los Angeles entering the toughest and most decisive phase of the season, Ogbonnia's return is not just good news. It's essential. The numbers don't lie. In the 4 games Ogbonnia played, the Chargers allowed 6.54 yards per play, a number far above the 4.92 yards recorded when he was out. The defense allowed 28.3 points per game with him, compared to only 17.9 points without him. And why does this matter so much? Because we are entering the part of the schedule where every snap can decide a playoff spot. And Ogbonnia isn't the only important return appearing on the radar. Another key player has also been cleared for practice, and this changes the scenario even more. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about now, in the second part. After the bye week, the Chargers finally returned, reigniting the atmosphere of expectation at the training center. The week of rest had been extremely necessary. In addition to recovering the physical conditioning of the starters, it allowed them to reorganize the sectors most affected by injuries and adjust the team's mentality for the final stretch of the season. And right on the first day of activities, the long-awaited medical report brought 2 great pieces of news that cheered the entire locker room and, of course, the fans. Running back Omarion Hampton returned to practice after weeks away due to an ankle injury, a highly anticipated return, as his absence significantly reduced the versatility of the backfield. The player will remain on the injury report until fully cleared, but for a team that has spent months dealing with heavy absences, the simple fact that they are back in practice already represents a significant change in the depth and dynamics of the rotation. It's as if a cloud is finally lifting over Los Angeles, opening space for a more stable phase at the most important moment of the season. But, as almost always happens in the NFL, when everything seems to be flowing perfectly, a twist occurs. And the surprise this time came precisely in the offensive sector. Rookie wide receiver Trey Harris appeared on the report as a limited participant due to a jaw injury. That's right, a jaw injury. An unusual, unexpected injury that immediately caught the attention of everyone who watched the practice. There was no clear incident that justified the problem, no notable collision, and no video circulating. It simply appeared in the report. Naturally, fans rushed to social media to try and understand what had happened. And then, as could be expected, the subject quickly became a meme. The most remembered episode was the classic 2015 case, when quarterback Geno Smith was punched in the Jets' locker room after an argument involving a $600 debt, one of the most chaotic and improbable moments in recent NFL history. Obviously, in Trey Harris's case, no explanation was provided. The team only stated that it would not disclose details about the origin of the injury, which which left room for even more theories and more memes. The good news is that, despite the strangeness of the case, the injury should not compromise his participation in the game against the Raiders. Harris should be fit to play normally, depending only on his body's response in the next practices. With Thanksgiving approaching, the main concern of fans turned into a joke. Well, as long as he can chew the Thanksgiving turkey, everything's fine. But if you thought that was the highlight of the week, get ready, because there's a third, much more serious, much more impactful update that directly affects the fight for a playoff spot. What's about to be revealed could completely change the course of the Chargers' season, and that's exactly what comes next. The Chargers finally returned to practice, but this time, there was something different in the air. The feeling was almost palpable, as if a silent change was about to transform the team's destiny in the final stretch of the season. And for a moment, everything seemed perfect, until a new update interrupted the optimism. An unexpected name appeared on the bulletin: Trey Harris. The rookie wide receiver, until then a symbol of consistency and evolution, appeared as a limited participant because of a jaw injury. The news spread so quickly that, within minutes, social media was flooded with jokes, improbable theories, and inevitable comparisons to legendary episodes, including the famous Geno Smith case in 2015. The difference: here, nobody knew how Harris had been injured. No information, no explanation, nothing but silence. But there was a comforting detail. The injury shouldn't keep him off the field for the Thanksgiving game. And, amidst the speculation, fans joked, if he can chew his dinner, he can play. However, that was nothing compared to what was to come, because the real turnaround was hidden in another number, another statistic, another certainty that was now beginning to take shape. Even with the tough and definitive losses of Rashawn Slater, Joe Alt, and Najee Harris, the team was dangerously close to something it hadn't achieved since September: an almost complete roster, powerful, reinforced, alive. The passing game was at its peak this season. Ladd McConkey, electric and unpredictable Keenan Allen, the glue holding the whole operation together, Quentin Johnston, the touchdown machine Oronda Gadsden-Sue, the rookie who already seemed like a veteran A-quartet that no defense wants to face. And unfortunately for the gods of American football, it will fall into the lap of a vulnerable Raiders secondary. The numbers don't lie. In third downs, in clock control, in efficiency, the Chargers are better, much better. And Justin Herbert, against the Raiders, he transforms. It's as if a secret button inside him is pressed, a turbo mode that only activates when he sees silver and black on the other side. Harbaugh, in turn, maintains a perfect record against Las Vegas, always by double digits, always dominant, always in control. And now, with the healthiest team of the year, with confidence rebuilt, with the offense flowing like never before, this game isn't just another chapter in the rivalry. It's a chance to prove to the entire NFL that the Chargers are still in the fight, that this year isn't over, that this team, finally whole, can achieve what many considered impossible just a few weeks ago.